My name is Jocelyn Meinert. I own two studios in Toronto, one focusing on motion graphics and visual effects, which is big studios. We've been around quite a long time. And most recently, Little Blackstone, which is focused on long form traditional animated content. I think we have a short sizzle, and then we'll talk a little bit. So we run a medium-sized studio out of Toronto, and now we have two studios running together, and there's a lot of overlap, which has been very exciting. Essentially, long-form storytelling, as well as working with Netflix and HBO and some sort of animated documentaries, as well as fantasy. And interestingly, we're seeing a lot of crossover between the two groups now, where we'll have a creative director from the motion graphics side working on a show with Netflix, which is sci-fi, and some of the character animators going over to the big studio side to help work on motion graphics. That's been super exciting. But I would say the theme for this panel is really the technology shift. You know, having been in this business for almost 30 years, seeing how creativity pushes technology and how technology pushes creativity, all in service of storytelling, very, very strong storytelling, and very, very strong stylistic advances. So we always say the backbone is the story, and the style is what gives the frame or the work its charisma and its presence. So I think that we're definitely in a time where there's a second wave of incredible new technologies. We used to run just sort of one platform or 1.5 platforms. We sort of started with Houdini, then we morphed over to 3D Studio Max, and then into Cinema 4D. Now we're running Max, Maya, Cinema 4D, and Houdini. Artists are being encouraged to be very strong in at least two of those platforms, as well as the new renderers, and we are super committed to Unreal being part of our motion graphics pipeline. Everyone, I think, is tired of waiting for frames to render, and whether it's GPU, really strong GPU rendering with a $60,000 graphics card or $20,000 graphics card. NVIDIA is doing some really good stuff there that supports Arnold and other sort of close to real-time GPU rendering. We have a Python workshop for all of our artists at the beginning of last year, and basically all of our animators were encouraged to stay an extra hour and just basically start to learn what Python could do for them, and having programmers as part of the artistic team, I think is also something that the future will create a sort of a stronger integration. I think anybody who's heard me in the last couple of years, I've always talked about the love affair between engineering and artists and creative directors, and I think that love affair is heating up again. Also, another technology is a number of technologies that really interest us, but volumetric capture. It's extremely hard to get players to stand still for longer than 3 seconds. Luckily, with high resolution volumetric capture, we can capture a player. This is something that we're playing with now. We can capture a player in about 3 seconds, and then we can take that data and organize it in any way that we want. There's just a tiny little smidge of that at the beginning of the reel, with the hockey player kind of coming together out of wireframe. But they can, again, with photoreal rendering, there's no reason why we can't create a digital player and then design how he appears and disappears. So essentially for us, it's creative R&D that is going hand in hand with technological advances, and really encouraging a certain kind of educational bravery. I think that, having been in the business for quite a long time, we've seen a certain kind of entrenchment in terms of the apps that we use, and our pipelines are almost all the same. We have a 3D app that we've adopted wholesale, a 2D app we've adopted wholesale, and we have a render farm or technological pipeline that sees our pictures get pushed through. However big your team is, it's really well established and incredibly robust. But I think now it's the time to get a little uncomfortable and start learning new stuff. And that's going to allow us to tell stories in very innovative ways. I have a little bugbear about 8K. 8K is only going to benefit Samsung and LG. I just can't see why it would be working unless I have a 20-foot movie screen at home. I would much rather be talking about AR, about new viewer experiences. I think, watching Minority Report 15 years ago, I think these immersive experiences, people poo-poo VR and AR from an actual sitting in the seat, experiencing content, that somehow that's going to go away. For anybody who's been in a full VR experience, especially the team VR stuff that's getting more and more popular, there's a very interesting group in Toronto doing stuff that we're hoping to collaborate with. It's so incredibly compelling. I don't see how anybody could think that's going to go away. It's not going to be like 3D TV. It's going to be, it's definitely the future.
Yeah,
or part
absolutely.
of the future.